Hey, Tiger fans, Ben Rosenbaum here for the first edition of the Tiger Lacrosse Report for the 2021 season. Happy to be back with head women's lacrosse coach, Sonia LaMonica. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Ben.
Let's rewind a little bit. Obviously, you had your opener this past weekend, but just getting back on the field, I mean, the players who were here last year having their season end the way it did, they must have been excited to get out there. I mean, you must have been excited along with your staff to get back out there as well. What were the emotions like finally getting to play lacrosse again?
Yeah, it was obviously such a long time coming, right? And every day we were just, one day closer in the lead up to a game. And I think just we were obviously excited to be in position to be able to compete. Number one, there's a lot that's going into getting our team safely out on the field. I've got to thank our medical staff, our trainer, all the work that's gone into getting to that point, as well as the work and the sacrifices the student athletes are making. They're doing their due diligence. So that in itself was just such a win, to be able to get out in the field and to play another team. So there was obviously a lot of excitement, to get out there. And that showed in the lead up and obviously through warm-ups and even into the game. I think, we were still just a little kind of jacked up because, we were out doing something we haven't been doing for almost a year. So overall, it was a great day.
Yeah, and then you get out on the field and you get a win on the field as well. 10-7 down in Emmitsburg against the Mount. Talk about freshman Lindsay Marshall, 3 goals for her in her college debut, including 4 draw controls. We always talk about it with women's lacrosse. You always find these freshmen that are able to make immediate impacts. And what can we expect from somebody like a Lindsay Marshall?
Yeah, I mean, she had such a great game. I was just very impressed with how she found a rhythm, and in honesty, she sort of she turned it around for our team. I mean, that second half, she really took the game on her shoulder. She kind of took over. She took over because obviously she was taking draws for us. We obviously, unfortunately, just had a couple players that we couldn't re-enter the game in the second half. One being Kerry Thornton, who takes the draws. And in those situations, while, it sort of can be a negative, it was a positive. It opens up a door for Lindsay to get in and make her moves on the draw. And she started to do that. And obviously too on the offensive end, creating some opportunities and finishing her shots. So obviously I was really thrilled to see a freshman come in and bringing that kind of composure. It's not common. It's one thing as a freshman to get in and get a bunch of minutes and kind of, hold your own, but she was a bit of a star.
Then another newcomer for the Tigers, Olivia Malamphy, CAA Defensive Player of the Week. You pair her with somebody like Sammy Chenoweth back there, and you've got to be excited for not just what your defensive unit can bring to the table now, but also some early recognition for Olivia Malamphy and what she's going to bring to the table moving forward.
Yeah. It was great to see all 3 of our transfers, really come in and were noticeable in that first game. They each, brought something special to our team amongst, many of our returners. And, Olivia is somebody, I mean, overall, we've got great speed on this team, and Olivia is one of the people leading that charge. We laugh about it as coaches. She's kind of like she's got a V8 supercharged turbo engine, in this little compact, mini. So she goes all out, and she's very quick. She's fast. She scraps hard, and those plays gain possessions, and that's what we saw. She just did her thing. She used her strengths, and she was able to make some plays on the defensive end and coming up with some 50-50 balls. So she really made an impact, which was super exciting. And for her to get recognition this week in the CAA, I think was warranted and really awesome.
Sammy Chen with a game-high 3 cost turnovers. We had the privilege of having her on Towson Athletics podcast, TigerCast, recently, and she talked about how she kind of refocused herself a little and focused on getting back in shape after the stoppage. What have you seen from her in growth, both from a physical standpoint and a mental standpoint?
Yeah, the pandemic, there's been lots of positives that come out. I think it's allowed many of us to sort of go back to ourselves and reevaluate. And certainly for a senior who, like many seniors out there after that season was cancelled, wondering and deciding on whether to come and use a COVID year. It really, for Sammy, she obviously wasn't done. And if you know Sammy, you know that, she's a competitor. She wants to have success on the field. She loves the game. And she loves playing it. She loves making plays. So she wasn't done. And that was evident from not long after our season was canceled. I think she was one of the returning seniors that made a decision on the earlier side. She wanted to come back and finish out what she came here to do, to compete, to win CA championships, to compete for a national championship. So I think for her, she was just like many people, right? You really appreciate and not take for granted the opportunities you have. And I think that really hit home for her. And a chance for her. I felt she probably felt like, she could even do more. And so she spent that break being really productive in, getting herself to be the best version of herself she could possibly be. So I'm just really proud of her sort of coming to that on her own. And I think that's really going to open the door for her to go out on a really high note as a senior, a grad senior this season. So, I think we'll continue to see great things from Sammy as we have in the past, but even maybe to an even higher level.
All right, this Friday, your home opener against the UMBC Retrievers at 4 o'clock. You're also playing in a brand new venue down at Tiger Field. You've gotten some practice down there. So the Retrievers, this is their first game of the season. What are you expecting from a tough UMBC team, and how are you getting the girls ready to play back at home?
For us, we are really focused on the improvements we need to make from our last game against the Mount. We came out with a win, but I think really we've got to really tighten up on a few things to prepare as we go on our next game. The goal is always to keep getting better, right? We're not expecting perfection in our first game of the season, or maybe any game of the season. What we are expecting is to keep getting better. So while, we have a bit of a feel for what UMBC's looked like in the past, having played them in pre-season last year, we expect we're going to see a team that's hungry. I mean, this is going to be their first game, so they're going to be coming out and, trying to pick up where they left off last season. But we need to just continue to tighten up on our unforced errors, on maybe finishing our shots, executing things just a little bit better. I think we went in with a good plan with the Mount. We just didn't quite execute as well as our standard is and what we expect of ourselves. So we get another chance on Friday to fine tune a few things and to build on the successes that we did have from this past game. So that's going to be really our focus coming in, and just continuing to get better through this week of practice. So we're trying to keep our standards and our intensity relatively high, but finding that balance too in our bodies and staying healthy, which has really been an underlined focus for us, given the unique process that our Tigers have gone through, and any student athlete coming back after having so long of a hiatus off. We've just got to make sure that these bodies are not stressed in ways that are going to lead to unnecessary injuries.
All right. Tigers and Retrievers hit Tiger Field at 4 o'clock. You can catch the game on TowsonTigers.com. I'll have the call. So, Coach, thanks for taking some time for us today, and good luck this Friday.